Hey guys, Chris, Ironhead Garage. Well, I'm back. Man, I was sicker than a dog right after I welded that subframe on. I was just getting better now, but man, I couldn't do anything. So happy to be pretty much well again. The old flu kicked my ass bad, but I've been over here messing around with this old truck. I was getting the front end mocked up on it. I still got it up on jack stands. So I got to get this radiator support height right. That's why I haven't let it down on the ground yet. But I'm trying to figure out some mounts for this radiator support. I made these bottom brackets. They're just held on there with magnets. I got these bushings from the hardware store. I use these on my old International truck for body mounts. They're real dense, real hard rubber. And then I drilled them. And you can knock them down for height or whatever. But I got the radiator support at the height I need it. And I fabbed two of these up. I just got them sitting on there. And I think I'm gonna make brackets like this. And then weld some supports going up here. I could weld full triangles maybe. But I gotta have these brackets here. I got one mocked up there too with the template on it. But I got my measurement right from the firewall to the back of the core support. Everything seems to be okay, but when I try to mock everything up here, my fenders aren't lining up for some reason. It's got me stumped for some reason. You can see there's my hole. I'm off about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm not sure what's going on. My door gap, it's pretty decent. It's a little bit bigger on the top. But that would mean that just this fender's got to come up a little bit. I got this one mocked up on here too. This one's a little closer. I did dolly all this stuff out and flatten it. Man, these GMCs, not like a 55 Chevy truck. That's pretty simple with just a core support. These are like a damn jigsaw puzzle, these trucks. But, so I think to be able to make all this stuff fit in there, there's so many pieces to put this truck back together. So that bolts onto that bracket, and it won't go because of that ear right there. So, to be able to mock everything back up where it goes, those filler pieces here go on there first. Then the inner fender wells, and all these other goodies. Before I weld these brackets on here and burn them on there, to make sure this is back and forth where it needs to be. I think I need to burn these frame horns off, or cut them off with the Sawzall. Got a couple marks on here. I figure if I cut them right there on that line, within reason, I'll do some good measurements, but everything should go back on there, and I'll be able to bolt all this up and make sure that this the brackets and everything's going to work, because I don't want to weld all them onto my support and everything and not have everything right and have to cut them loose. So I think I'm going to take this radiator support back off. It's just clamped on there, a pair of vice grips, and these are just setting on there. And cut these legs off, take these fenders off, get them out of the way, cut these legs off, and cut these ears off. And I won't plate them up yet. I want to get this old front end bolted all up and make sure the hood's going to work and stuff before I burn those on there. But yeah, it's a big puzzle. Oh, I did get my my motor mounts for my Pontiac engine from Butler Performance. These are 1/4 inch thick. These boys are stout. That's what I needed. I got those. Pretty cool to have them. They came with the motor mount bolts to go through the bases. I did get a bearing for my steering column. I went with this cheaper one. The other one, C10 one I was talking about, is like 50 bucks. This one was like 10 bucks. So hopefully it goes in the inside diameter of that steering column shaft. I believe it will. The inside's 3/4 as the steering shaft is. I'll slide this up in there, and then before I do that, I'll weld or drill a couple holes and weld a couple nuts on there, and then be able to lock this bearing down with a couple little short bolts. So that should work pretty good. It's a decent bearing. It ain't not like it needs to be a real high speed bearing or anything. Did weld on my my Ironhead garage emblem. I welded all the letters on there, and I got the bolts super glued on there. You can see how that super glue works pretty good. Look at it. Discolors the steel. It must heat up or chemical reaction or something. But I made them a little thinner there on the heads, so now I can spot weld a couple spot welds on each side, and then have her on there. I don't want to jam it on there and break them bolts off, but yeah, it's been messing around, trying to feel better. But this thing here is going to give me a headache. But I'll get it. Just got to get these bolts to line up right. This one's close. So I'm going to tear this all apart and cut the end of these frame rails off here. Then I'll be able to get these pieces in here and make sure everything's going to fit and bolt everything together, you know, just not permanent or anything, but make sure it's going to work before I burn them rad support brackets in there. So here we go again, take her apart again. Alright guys. Well, I got the ears cut off. I took 3.5 inches off of them. Got them nice and prepped, and got this area prepped, ready to weld. And then when I know everything's right, I can take it all apart again and cap these. But came out nice and square. So that's nice. And they're level to the earth, to the ground, whatever you call it. So and we'll put that radiator support back in there and start assembling everything again and see what I can come up with. Alright, well, I got everything mocked up again. Had to move my radiator support 1/2 inch off my measurement towards the cab, but now my holes will line up. So the measurement I took was good, but I believe since this truck was hit, that everything was just tweaked a little bit and off measurements. But I believe where I cut the frame's gonna clear. I got this side kind of mocked up, a couple bolts in and not holding together very good, but see back here. So that's going to clear where I cut the frame 3/4 of an inch or so. And these bolt holes here are going to line up. This fender's just floppy around, but radiator support needs to go over a little bit. It's going to clear my steering box barely. Got enough room there, about 1/4, for my radiator to bolt to this. Then the radiator actually pitches in on the bottom, so I lucked out there, so it'll clear this steering box. Gonna have to do quite a bit of whittling. So you can see over here these inside panels and where the frame rail is. So it's about right here. This piece goes on this side, but you can see I'm gonna have to trim this inner fender well around here somewhere, and then up and over those A-arms. So that's going to be a tricky part, but I just take my time. So I believe I'm good for leveling this thing back out for this way, and I got it tied up there at the top, and I got the height right. The height of for the fender seems good. The inner fender wells go on top of the fender, and then this bolts onto the top of the inner fender wells, and then bolts down to the radiator support bracket there. Lots of pieces to this old truck, but everything was kind of tweaked. All this stuff was bent up and out of square, and I dollied it all and flattened it all in here. It was smashed all in. So it's going to be some whittling to get her all back together good. But I think I'm going to go with these mounts that I made. These brackets here. I got a couple measurements written down. I think it's like 2.5 up from the bottom. But that's where I'll... Whoops. So I think it's like 2.5 inches up from the bottom. I got to mock it all up again. And then drill these bushings. Drill these plates for the bushings, and then make my my patterns off my metal off of these patterns for my radiator support bracket here, and then make some straps. I got that all nice and clean and prepped, ready to put some spot welds on it when I build those. But I'll probably just make these holes oversized a little bit. Then I got some adjustment to move that radiator support around back and forth. I'm equal from the frame, 6 3/4 from the radiator support to the outside of the frame each way. I had it nice and level this way. I got to do that again, but I think I'm gonna spot weld these guys on there and build these brackets here I got made up, and go from there. One piece at a time, just like the old Johnny Cash song. Alright, guys. Alright, well, I had her tore apart again. I spot welded those angle brackets on. I made these. I kind of changed the pattern a little bit. I got that one spot welded on. And here, got the holes drilled. I think that's going to be a lot stronger. Got the bushing fitting in there nice in the center. So I got to clean those up. I made a bunch of, well, not a bunch. I made 4 little, I don't trust this, all this weight of this front end just being on this angle. So I made these little gussets here. I made 4 of them. I'm going to put them on the inside, like so. Stay there. Stay. One on the outside. And I got a couple made for this side too. That'll go on here. And I'll make it so it don't touch. But maybe I'm overthinking all this, but I want that to be super strong. And once you know it, I had that length there to put my bolt. This bracket here bolts onto those 2 bolts. Look at it, just covers my head of my bolt a little bit, so I'm gonna have to relief cut this like a 1/4 notch on each side. But I think that'll be strong enough. It's got to adjust up a little bit. I was thinking I got to be able to get that bolt out. I was thinking maybe putting a little brace like that. I'm not sure. I think if I weld this guy all the way around, this is pretty thick, almost 3/16 metal. If I weld that all the way around, it would have to tear that apart though, but we'll see. I'll probably go ahead and cap these. I got some plate metal I'm gonna cut out and burn those on there, and finish burning these angle brackets on and burn all this together. I might not do these yet and see how strong it is, but I would just put a triangle piece here But this has got to be adjustable. It's got a little bit of swing up and down, so it'd be in the way of doing that. So that's why I was thinking maybe something like that. But we'll see. Well, I'm gonna take these off of here and clean them up and make sure she's square the level one more time and burn them on there. All right guys, well, made a little project. I've been sick, haven't been able to go and get my woman anything for Valentine's Day, but when you got some time out in the garage, you can make her some roses. Yeah, even a vase. Yeah, pretty cool. She never likes getting flowers because they say they just die. Well, these will last forever. Yeah, pretty cool. Probably ought to put some clear coat on them, but made a vase. Using up my material. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, guys. I think she's gonna dig it. All right. Well, since I had to weld her out, building that rose for Valentine's Day, I went ahead and welded up my radiator support pockets. Welded in the braces here. I just welded them on the outside. Got a nice bead across there. I didn't weld the very bottom back here. If it breaks these off, I got trouble. But the other top came out a little bit better looking, but super strong. Got a nice weld there. This inside one was hard to get, but I got a good weld on there. I went ahead and welded the brackets on the core support. I believe those are going to be bomb-proof. It would have to rip the whole core support off to break those. But spin this baby around. Got the tops welded. Got that top welded. So, all the way around, just like downtown. So I think it's going to be bomb-proof. Should be. If not, I'll do something different, but I think it's going to be plenty strong to hold this front end. These pockets here, I was thinking I better leave these open because I got to build bumper brackets, some kind of bracket to come off of here to hold my bumper and the big mustache. And leaving them open, I'll be able to get a wrench in here, and if I got to drill some holes here or whatever I decide to do, so I'm going to leave them open for now. They ain't going to hurt nothing. Maybe leave them open for good. Got a big slot here from the original bumper. Hopefully I can build something. Got to figure it out. Some kind of bracketry out here to hold my bumper. But yep. So guess I'm gonna mount this thing and maybe try to mount the fenders, and I got to cut those inner fender welds and make them go over these A-arms and over the top of this frame, the tricky part. So we'll leave it here. Got some progress done. I'm getting better from being sick, so that's good. Lots more to do though. So we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you. You guys take care.